Hey Alex, I received the sword today all the way from China. Let's do an honest review on this Chrysanthemum katana from Swordier. Okay friends, let's take a detailed look at this sword. First of all, the koshidai, the mountings are beautiful. To look at this sword from a distance on the wall is going to impress yourself and any friends you might have. Let's take a look at the kashida. The kashida, they say, and the fuchi, the suba are all made of brass. And it has a nice chrysanthemum decoration on there. I think it's very attractive. I like the gold on the metal there. The transitions are decent. Can move it a little bit, but it's definitely acceptable for practitioners out there. The ray skin underneath is real. I don't know if they're panels. Probably does have hishigami in here because the diamonds really stick out. The diamonds are quite well uniformed. They're not really crazy looking at all. Look like Mitsudomoe in there, and I like the silver color. That matches very well, and it doesn't stick out and protrude too much on the diamonds. The transition to the fuchi is not as good. It's not terrible, but it's a little bit sharp there, but pretty well put in. And the detail is the same as the kashida with the chrysanthemums and that little decorative swirl there. The seppa look like they're copper, which I really like. I love that darkish brown copper gold color. And the suba guard is the chrysanthemum theme following. You have a nice kind of polished mimi on there. I think there's just enough black and gold for me, in my taste, to make it look really attractive. Looking at the habaki, of course, it's one of those typical boring gold habaki that scratch really well. As you can see, there's some black dirt on it already. These companies really need to fix these habaki. The habaki is one of the worst parts of all swords that I review. I rarely see one that has some workmanship or quality put into it. This habaki, you can see, is not matching the sword very well. There are definitely gaps between the blade and the habaki there. That means it's not obviously hammered down to the size, but I don't expect that at a sword for this price point. It's not handmade purely. The weight of the sword is about 2 pounds. That's about average. I would say it's a heavy blade. It's a beautiful T10 steel. It is clearly clay tempered for superior hardness and flexibility. Look at that gorgeous kind of fiery hamon on there. That is one of the major features of this sword. The polish is decent. You can see some lines on there from the polishing, but again, it's not going to be a mirror polish. It's not supposed to be. The hamon sticking out, and then it polishes up a bit more near the mune. The stats of the blade say that the edge hardness is about a 60 HRC, and the spine hardness is 50, so it's going to be a little more flexible and durable on the back side of the sword, and you want the hard edge to really be able to cut through things and hold its edge longer. The blade shape is shinogi zukuri, and it has a chu kasaki geometry. The kasaki is 1.97 inches. The yokote is not geometrical. It looks like it is polished in there. And sadly, the hamon does not go all the way up past the boshi line very well, although it looks like it's just ground down a little bit, but the polish does not bring out the beautiful hamon at the tip of the sword. How sharp is it? It's a good sharpness. It's not the sharpest sword I have by any means, but it cuts paper. I'm not going to do cutting with it right now, but you can see that it cuts paper pretty well, but it could use a sharper edge, but it's definitely enough to cleave through whatever you're going to cleave through with a sword. I would say it's going to go through soft targets very well. The ska has 2 makugi pins to hold it in, and again, what attracted me about this particular sword that I chose from the website is the color. I really like the gold chrysanthemum theme. The light brown ito is very comfortable in the hand. The sword is top heavy like most swords are, so I have some that are much more well balanced, but this one is average balance for a katana of this size and shape. Another fantastic feature for this price point is the saya. The scabbard is beautiful, and it's covered with Samigawa and lacquered over many times. So the saya has a lot of interesting character to it. The koiguchi is decently made and the wood inside looks clean and crafted very well. It's sanded well. The kojiri also has a buffalo horn finish, which is good if you want to put the sword on the ground or something or stand up. It's not going to wreck your saya. I like how the kurigata is not rounded, it's kind of shaved there. I like that shape. It's really well made. The sageo is dark brown, looks like a silk or a synthetic silk, and it's of a mid-level quality, and the presentation wrap is very handsome looking. The shitodome look to be glued in, which is something that they're improving on. Something all of these companies need to work on before they ship it, and it's not a matter of just humidity and the wood of the saya moving around, is they need to fix the habaki. The habaki on this is loose. It is not as tight as it needs to be for safety reasons. This sword will fall out if I lean forward. A 10-year-old child can easily take this sword out. So now I have to shim it in order to keep it tight. That is a bad thing with many of these sword companies, is when it goes through quality control, they are not making sure that the habaki is very tight. You want to have a tight habaki because when you draw it, it's going to loosen up, the wood will chip away, and it'll naturally get looser over time. But you don't want a sword that you buy off the rack where it's loose already. Now I have to go back and shim it, which is not a good use of my time. It's not fun to do on a new sword. So to me, that's the biggest negative of this sword, is it's not locked in tight for safety reasons. The pluses on the sword, it's really a beautiful brown earthy tone. It has really nice ray skin on it. The fit and finish is very well done. Sageo is very well done. The saya is a massive bonus, and to have the buffalo endings are very good. The blade is very exceptionally beautiful looking. I haven't cut with it yet, so I can't give an opinion on its performance. Subagard is beautifully attractive. Negatives are the ito wrap could be a bit tighter, although it's definitely acceptable, and the habaki is a failure on the fit. Overall, this Chrysanthemum themed sword is a B+. I think it's pretty good. Aesthetically is beautiful. For a budget sword of this price, not bad at all. How will it stand up with some abuse? I have no idea. The sword itself has a decent swordy curve on it, as you can see. It's pretty top heavy, but the average for these swords coming out of Longshuan, China are the same. They're a bit top heavy, there's not a lot of weight distributed here, but that doesn't stop it from cutting well. There's no bohi on it, so you're not going to get any kaze, but you're going to get a bulkier, thicker blade. It moves nice. It moves nicely. I really am digging the hamon in this. That is a beautifully polished blade right there. And again, hopefully this is just a one-off with this loose habaki here. I'm hoping that the rest of them that they make do not have this fault. I want to thank my friend Alex from Swordier for sending this sword for review. I'll put the links below in the description so you guys can go and check out this and many other swords at swordier.com. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching.